What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Steven Ostentoski here of Mason Brew, joined by Lady, giving me some side-eye in the background. And today, just wanted to talk about the craziness that's going on right now with COVID-19 in college football. A lot of news dropped today. Wanted to go through it. What does it mean for Michigan football? What does it mean for the entire landscape of NCAA football for the season of 2020. So, as of July 8th, Ivy League has, at the very least, postponed their 2020 fall sports. John Rothstein of CBS Sports, first to break this news. It also means they're delaying their winter sports since they're not considering starting sports until January 1st of 2021. So what does that mean in the context of Michigan sports this fall, obviously including football? Feels a little bit like deja vu, right? March 12th was the date that the Ivy League announced the cancellation of their basketball conference tournament. Upcoming March Madness was then canceled as a result of other conferences also canceling their conference championships. So, a couple reasons not to freak out immediately with this news from the Ivy League since the situation is a bit different. So, two main reasons. Number one, time. We have had time to prepare for this. We have testing, we have knowledge. Like I said, we've had the time to prepare. So March 12th was at the start of the shutdown. We knew nothing, or at least very little, of COVID-19. Now there's been a good amount of time to process. We have testing, we have different protocols in place now, and the people in charge have had time to come up with a protocol and come up with alternatives to address the situation, or at least to try to address the situation as best as we can. Number two is money. So this is a thing where, you want safety first, but March Madness cancellation was a big deal to the NCAA checkbooks. In 2019, March Madness generated over $900 million for the organization. So think of what cancellation of the football season would do, not only to them, but conferences as a whole. So Michigan football generates over $100 million a football season. In 2018, they earned $127 million. That's a profit of $75 million. All right, see you, lady. And for the 2019 season, they earned $52.1 million from TV revenue alone. So I don't know the scheduling of the TV terms, how organizations, how BTN and Michigan have those conversations. Obviously, 2020 will be a record year for TV revenue in college football landscape. If there's a season, that would at least get Michigan to around the even point. A smaller profit could still mean cuts to other sports programs within the University of Michigan. So Stanford already cut today. They announced that they already cut 11 varsity sports. They do have a higher number of teams than other Power 5 programs. They have, I think, 32. Now they cut that down closer to the 20 mark. And on top of that, also announced today, Ohio State and North Carolina have suspended their voluntary workouts. So Ohio State did not report their numbers of positive tests, but they are suspending their workouts for 14 days. North Carolina reported 37 athletes, coaches, and staff members in the football program testing positive. So obviously that's not great, and they're suspending their voluntary workouts as well. So what can we really expect moving forward here? There's going to be a shift, at least it's going to seemingly be a shift to conference-only games. There's been a lot of buzz going around that. I feel, personally, there's too much coordination of protocols and rules between the conferences. Things are too fluid to allow for out-of-conference games right now. There's too much risk in travel. So in terms of keeping down on that, having a conference-only schedule helps keep your team regional and keep the cross-country travel to a minimum. So that is very realistic to me. There's rumblings of like a 10-game Big Ten schedule, for example. We'll see what comes up with that, and that also would include multiple games against the same team. So think of like Indiana's pretty close, Ohio State, Michigan State. These would all be teams that Michigan would play twice. So that'd be very strange, but that's another way to keep it contained to just a few teams interacting with one another. And no idea how that would affect the postseason. How if teams aren't playing each other, how do you determine tiebreakers and things like that? There's lots of things in flux there to consider as well. They're going to hold on for as long as they possibly can, because a lack of football will decimate a lot of programs. A lack of non-conference will spell doom for a lot of those smaller D1 programs that really, really rely on that revenue they gain from playing larger programs at their home stadium. They get paid millions of dollars for that, so you could see a lot of program cuts in sports programs for those smaller D1 schools. So shifting to spring has also been rumored. It's been discussed. That will come with some extreme repercussions on recruiting, scholarships. There's just a whole lot of things that a movement to spring would entail that would be very complicated. I won't discuss those details and go through those until that would be announced, but obviously that would be a way to preserve football and not just cancel outright. We'll see if they eventually go there. So obviously it's going to be a very weird season regardless of what happens. Interested to hear what you guys have to say. Let's have a discussion. Ladies here to talk as well. Let's have a discussion in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully, we're staying safe and that people can watch football, but also the players are not compromised as a part of that. So we all want football. We all want to be safe. So let me know your thoughts. You can find me on Twitter at Steven Toski. Beyond that, guys, stay safe out there. And as always, go blue.